Time is 9 a.m. The date is June 1st, 2021. We will call to order the meeting of the Statesboro City Council. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember John Riggs.
Thank you. First, I'd like to remind everybody, I don't know if you heard, one of our employees, her daughter, 17-year-old daughter, was killed in a car crash last Wednesday. And I just want our thoughts and prayers to be for her. Anyone that hadn't heard about that, it was also, last Wednesday was a pretty bad day. You know, Marty Waters, his son drowned that day.
Sunday.
It was a rough day for Statesboro last week.
Yeah.
Anyway, just want everybody to keep that in mind. And now let's bow our heads. Lord, thank you for the opportunity for us to be here, to be Americans, to be grown up in this wonderful country that gives us so many opportunities. Thank you so much for the men and women who have died and fought to give us those freedoms today. And keep them in your hearts. I know it's Memorial Day is just one day, but it's something we should think about every day of the year. And that also include all of our first responders. I appreciate them. Because of them working yesterday, me and most of the folks in the country get to take yesterday off. So thank you to the first responders. God bless y'all. We ask that you please guide us today as we talk about important things for the future of the city. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 3, recognition and public presentations. A presentation of a proclamation for Pride Month. The proclamation reads as follows. A proclamation by the Mayor and City Council of Statesboro, Georgia for Pride Month. Whereas our nation is founded on the principle of equal rights for all people, but the fulfillment of this promise has been long in coming for many Americans. Some of the most inspiring moments in our history have arisen from the various civil rights movements that have brought one group after another from the margins of the mainstream of American society. And whereas in the movement towards equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, a historic turning point occurred on June 28, 1969 in New York City with the onset of the Stonewall riots. During the riots, the LGBT citizens rose up and fought against the discriminatory criminal laws that have since been declared unconstitutional. And whereas the LGBT pride celebrations have taken place around the country every June to commemorate the beginning of the Stonewall riots, and whereas June is celebrated as LGBT Pride Month nationwide, whereas Statesboro has a diverse LGBT community that includes people of all ethnicities, religions, and professions, and whereas everyone should be able to live without fear or prejudice, discrimination, violence, and hatred based on race, religion, gender, identity, or sexual orientation. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the City of Statesboro, on behalf of all residents of Statesboro, does hereby proclaim June 2020 as Pride Month in the City of Statesboro and urges all residents to respect and honor those diverse community and celebrate and build a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance, adopted this first day of June 2021. Thank you. We'll move down to agenda item 4, which is public comments. Leah, any public comments?
No, Mayor.
Okay. We'll move down to agenda item 5, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the work session minutes and council minutes from May 18th?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 6, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2021-20, a resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2022 budget for each fund of the City of Statesboro, Georgia, appropriating the amount shown in each budget as expenditures and expenses, adopting the several items of revenue anticipations, and prohibiting expenditures or expenses from exceeding the actual funding available for appropriation. Is there any additional comments, Mr. Bennett?
Mayor, members of the council, I would like to just make one correction. At the last meeting, we had a public hearing, and I stated a number for the record, and that number said that our budget was gonna be $73,832,758. And I'm glad to report the actual number is $69,152,014. So I need to correct the record.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item. Oh, any opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Move down to agenda item 7, consideration of a motion to award a contract for banking services to Synovus for a 4-year term. Mr. Penny, any insight on that?
Mayor, members of the council, we do have, I believe on Zoom, are they on Zoom? Doug Gephardt and Ricardo from Davenport, just in case you have any questions. We've gone through the bid process and we talked about it in the work session, so we do recommend award of contract to Synovus for banking services.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We move down to agenda item 8, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2021-21, a resolution adopting maximum tariff rates by towing and storage operators engaged in non-consensual towing. Mr. Penny, you want to give us some insight on that?
Mayor, members of council, I think the last time these rates were adjusted was back in 2017. And what we're recommending is that council consider just mirroring the state fees. And we also recommend that this go into effect on July 1st. Therefore, our public would be put on notice that if their car is towed, instead of paying $150, they'll be paying $175 and accordingly. And so we do recommend it to this morning that council would consider mirroring the state fees for towing.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Actually, I do have just a comment to make, and I didn't check this out in advance. Right after Statesboro High School graduation, I saw a social media post about people who got towed when they parked along in front of doctor's offices and such near Statesboro High School. The media post said, I mean, they knew, it was a group of folks who came together, so the person who was posting said they knew a lot of the car owners, and that the tow drivers apparently targeted the older, more beat-up cars and left the newer cars. And the assumption was that the folks driving the older cars would have more difficulty coming up with the towing fee, and that way they would accumulate more of the storage charges. Which is really sad, you know, that it would cost somebody extra money like that to attend a high school graduation. So I don't know if there's anything we can do about it, but I was just concerned to read that.
Do we notice what they did, or is that just speculation?
I don't have an answer, and they were towing them out of those parking lots. They were on private property, and so we wouldn't be controlling that, but we control the fees, and that would be the extent of, unless chief is aware of any.
So my understanding is that the tow company is at the tow driver's discretion. If the sign is up in the lot and somebody parks there, the tow drivers can ride around and see that and tow cars at their discretion. It's not up to the owner to call and notify them, I need you to go tow somebody. Is that correct?
That's correct. We require a signature from someone, from the management person on scene before they can move those cars from private property.
But it's the tow driver.
The management company who's there has to sign a slip allowing the tow truck driver to take that car off of private property.
Okay.
So you say manager, you're saying property manager.
Property.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, the property management at the physical location has to sign a slip for the tow truck driver to make sure the tow truck driver doesn't get in trouble for a non-consensual tow.
For each individual car,
Yes, sir.
they have to be on, I mean, somebody has to be available 8 to 9, 8 to 5 to, sorry.
Janet, do you want to join me up here? I mean, Janet represents a towing company, so she might have some different insight, but what we want to do is try to avoid these situations where tow truck drivers do have the
Discretion.
the discretion to make those decisions. So we require a property manager, owner, security guard, somebody on behalf of the management to summon them and say, I need these 4 cars towed, point those cars out. Then they get a tow slip, so then when they're towing that car away, no one can accuse them of stealing that car because the management is the one who's requested them to leave. So
Okay. And so you said something that was perfect just then. The management company points out
Yes.
that's the idea, yes, sir.
what vehicles. Okay. So it was not, so,
Okay,
okay. So that gives a little bit more clarity.
it does.
Okay.
A lot of the public doesn't realize that. So when they post things like that, they make us look bad, and that's not necessarily the case. Most of the time, like he said, an owner, property manager, security guard, whatever, will say, hey, I need these cars removed,
And have to sign a slip for each one.
and they have to sign a slip for each one.
Mhm.
So it is back on the property owner rather than the tow truck driver.
Right.
The tow company.
But we don't often tell the public, how that works because of retaliation. Don't want it coming back on somebody else, and we just kind of deal with it.
Gotcha. Thank you for the information. Thank you, Chief.
Can I ask one? So then, should those slips be available somewhere?
Those
In
slips-
other words, if somebody, in this case, let's just say it was a zealous tow truck driver who just decided to do it on their own, are those
Yes, sir.
slips required? And if they don't have that slip, should they have to pay?
There can
It's an
be-
unauthorized tow, correct?
That's right. And there's a $1,000 fine associated with unauthorized, non-consensual towing. But we can audit them. When people make complaints, we'll go to the tow company and say, I need to see a record of this and check for a signature from a management person.
So there you go, Sherry, that if anybody has a concern, they can have it checked.
Can contact the police department and say, I was towed, can you confirm for me that this was actually authorized?
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Let me ask another question, if you don't mind. The current towing rates, and then the current state towing rates, how did y'all come up with 150 to 175?
That's the state, right?
That's the state,
The state,
The 175 state
That's the
rate.
state.
that's the top state rate, can't go any higher than that, that's on us. If that's what you're going
And our
for,
rate
is
is
the top one.
150, Mr. Reed.
It has been 150, now we're
It's
going,
currently 150.
and this will approve it to 175.
Right.
Okay. That's all I want to know, just curious.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2021-22, a resolution requesting approval to apply for law enforcement mental health awareness act grant for the city of Statesboro. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, this is a cooperative opportunity for us to apply for a grant through the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Community Policing for $104,550. And it's to deal with mental health for law enforcement officers as well. So we will be working with the Bullock County Sheriff's Department and Georgia Southern University if we are awarded the grant. So today, we're just asking for your permission to be able to apply for these funds, and we would recommend that we be allowed to submit the grant.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any insight from council or any discussion?
Sure, I'd like to ask, who will be teaching the public, the mental health? Is that Georgia Southern? And a lot of this I already know the answers to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I just want the public to know.
problem.
It's part, thanks for the question, Councilman Mayor. It's a part of a national training curriculum, and we're going to send our training sergeant and some other instructor level folks that have been certified by the state instructors to that training. And then we're going to push it out to all of our folks, sheriff's office folks, GSU folks, and families. And that will help them to understand some of the effects of dealing with PTSD and dealing with critical incidents, those kind of things. So we can hopefully just work on everybody's wellness and make sure that our folks stay as healthy as they can.
Okay, I guess what I was thinking was, when I saw Georgia Southern University, I wasn't thinking of
About
Georgia
the
Police Department. I was thinking they were going to teach it, because they have, obviously, doctorates over there in mental health, so. So where's the training? Where are they going to send it to?
I honestly don't know, off the top of my head. So the training sergeants are working on the grant, and they also have been working cooperatively with the There's like a tactical medicine group in the kinesiology department at GSU who already works with our folks, trains them physically, and they're going to continue to work on this with us and get cross-trained as well, so that we can have sort of a non-law enforcement perspective in the training curriculum, if that makes sense. So Dr. Melton and her folks, they do an awesome job over there, and they've been working with us at our gym and the fire department for a couple of years, and we're just continuing that relationship with them.
It sounds like there's a component to enhance the mental health of the staff, the officers, as well as train them how to better deal with the public.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So CIT training is what we use to understand and work with mentally ill people in the community. Mental health first aid is for us to look at ourselves and each other, to be a little bit mindful of things you're feeling and why are you feeling that. And so it's really more self first aid and family first aid, and not really the public, which we use CIT training for that.
CIT stands for Crisis Intervention Training.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any further discussions by council?
Sounds good.
All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2021-23, a resolution initiating voter referendum to authorize issuance of licenses for the package sale of distilled spirits. Yeah, I'll go to council. Yeah.
Mayor, Council,
I'm sorry.
this is a resolution to initiate a ballot referendum, a voter referendum to be held on November 2nd to authorize the issuance of licenses for those, for liquor stores, basically. And the background impetus for this is the very recent amendment of O.C.G.A. 3441. This was actually enacted on May 4th, just a few weeks ago. And what it did is, it was amended to allow referendum elections to be authorized, to be initiated upon passage of a local resolution by the governing authority of any municipality or county. Tell you a couple other things about 3441. The other amendment was that it lowered the petition threshold from 35% of the number of registered voters to 20%. And it also maintained the 2-year prohibition between ballot referendums, so that they can't be constantly petitioned or resolved to be held by the governing authority. So those are the two things it did, was the local resolution and lowered the petition threshold.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ken. Any discussion by council?
Yes, Kane, that was about the state passed that, that is O.C.G.A.
That's correct. It was signed by Governor Kemp on May 4th after.
Is this kind of like what Nathan Deal did? Nathan Deal, when he became governor, people asked him, liquor by the drink on Sunday. Of course, he said, I'm not going to have a 10-foot pole. So he signed something similar to this, allowing municipalities and counties to put on a referendum and make our own decisions instead of him signing something. He said, I'm not touching that. So anyway, it was kind of like, I won't say it was a mandate, but
it was a focus on local control. So yes,
right,
this
right.
was another step towards local control.
And this is simple, this is similar to that.
It's extremely similar to it. It has the same sort of dictated ballot question that the Sunday sales law did as well. You can only put the question that is on the resolution on the ballot. Just that very simple question. It's the same way it was with those Sunday sales. It was shall Sunday sales be permitted? And in this case, it's shall the issuance of licenses for packaged sale of distilled spirits be approved? I mean, and that's just all there is to it. It's just a very simple question about whether it should or shouldn't. And it's the exact same.
When did our Sunday sales referendum pass?
Our Sunday sales referendum, I believe, passed in, I think it was before that, Councilman Boyd. I think it was maybe.
It had to have been the year Nathan Deal.
I think it may have been 2012 is when we had the Sunday sales, because I remember we got Sunday sales in package stores and in restaurants, or not in package stores, but like in convenience stores and in restaurants on the same day. And I believe that was in 2012. And I believe the liquor by the drink went into effect in 1998.
Yeah, that was
That
in the
was
90s.
done the same way. It's by council resolution followed by voter referendum. Those other two as well. And I believe we did the same thing with the brunch bill as well, when there's some, we also have to do a ballot referendum for that, so we.
Oh,
we have the
that
history.
was just 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yes, it's been since I've been here, that's correct. I believe Councilman Ricks initiated that.
No, it was Councilman Boyle.
You voted for it, hasn't it?
Was that brunch bill, was that also something that was signed by the state saying, I'm not touching that and y'all can
Yep.
take care of it? Was that kind of?
All 3 of those were seen as local control initiatives that the state is divesting themselves of the overarching, regulation and saying, cities, this is up to you. So Savannah, you wanna do brunch, you wanna do whatever. It gives the local communities the option to do what's best for them.
So all 3 are similar?
Correct.
Gotcha, just curious.
And this one's the same way, driven largely by, cities up in Cobb County.
Gotcha.
Well, I see. Any further discussion by, council?
Yes, who is going to decide, or when, if we put this on the ballot and it says simply, like you said, you shall issue licenses for the package sale of distilled spirits. If we pass that, then when are we gonna make up the laws deciding who can get a license? Where you can put your store, that kind of stuff.
That's a very good question. Obviously, those discussions have not been had, what the ordinance would look like. And we would need to have that discussion just based on, we'd have it the same manner we would for any code of ordinances revision, because that's what this law would allow us to do, is to amend the ordinance in order to issue those liquor store licenses.
Gotcha.
Can I ask a question? So if this does pass today by council, is there a way that we can get, the public's input before it's voted on so that everybody knows, or is that something that has to happen after the fact?
There's no legal prohibition on discussing what the ordinance would look like or having any sort of public input in the interim or after it passed to see what the code, and of course, we would have to have public hearings in order to enact the ordinance that would follow the ballot referendum. So that there's no prohibition on when those discussions would occur.
Okay.
Any further discussion by council?
Well, I have mixed feelings about this. I'm interested in hearing if other council members have thought about this more or have something they'd like to share about it.
Hey, if we're modernizing our ordinances, it's time.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle.
I think people are going to, they're giving the money out to different counties. I think that we should try to take a stab at this and see how it goes and let the voters vote.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All of those are very valid points. You called and asked me yesterday what I thought. You said, well, you've got a lot more experience. No, you called and said you've got more experience with this. And so does Phil. Alcohol is the most divisive issue that we will ever come across that I can remember about. And Phil used to be the reporter, now Al is, and we all know that alcohol is just, it's a lightning rod. I believe we would need at least a year of work sessions, inviting the public, before we even thought about putting it on
A year?
yes, I do, a year. Because believe me, you're gonna hear it all, and that all needs to be heard.
Definitely,
All
I do agree
sides.
with that.
I think this is rushing it, and I would hate for it to be put on there and not passed, and have to wait 2 more years. Y'all can do it again next year, but it needs at least a year of discussion from everybody, and everyone needs to be invited. That's my thought.
Any further discussion by council?
I guess that kind of echoes my concern. I hear and understand, like, we're behind the times. For a city our size, there's so few of us left in Georgia who don't allow this. Why are we letting counties around us have the money? So I'm open and sympathetic to that argument. And I don't like doing things fast. What's the rush? I've just heard about this last Thursday, that it would be on the agenda today. So maybe not a year, but at least a few months is what I'm thinking, to hear from people whether they're ready for this to come to a vote here in Bullock County, in the city of Statesboro.
And that's why I kind of posed that question, could we do it before it went to the vote? If we vote on it today, we would have a couple of months to hear what people have to say, and then we'll see what they have to say when they go to the ballots and vote.
This the whole, you talk about wanting to hear what the people have to say.
That's
what this is.
one way to do that.
The referendum is a way for every single person in the city to have their voice. And as John said, alcohol can be a divisive issue. There's a lot of judgment with people who even just, consume it recreationally or occasionally even. There's a lot of judgment, and there's a lot of people afraid to come here and make their real opinions known. And when these last 3 referendums came up, very few people stood up and said things positively because they were afraid to. And yet, all 3 of these referendums passed 2/3. So, I mean, clearly we need to move forward. As for time, John, I mean, we've already got a regularly scheduled city council election. We wait till next year. Now our city council election gets muddled up with the governor's race and the house races. So if we're gonna focus on what the city of Statesboro really wants, let's do it this year when it's a city election only. And we've got 6 months between, if we pass it now before it turns up on the ballot, we can write the ordinance before then, or we can wait until after the voters. It's either way. But as far as hearing from the public, this is what hearing from the public is. So if you want to wait and do the ordinances till after November, that's fine. But this is a way to hear directly from the public. So, and we got 6 months. So I think that's plenty of time.
So with the resolution, if we pass this resolution, we're saying, put it on the next available ballot for the local citizens to vote whether or not they want us to figure out how to offer liquor for sale in Statesboro.
Yes, and that would specifically be November 2nd, 2021. And Mr. Payne just asked me a question. I believe I do need to share the answer with y'all. And that would be when would the last time we could take action on this in order to get on the November ballot? And that would be the 2nd July meeting. I just want to share that with council.
2nd July meeting.
So tell me this, if this waited to the 2nd July meeting, we could still get public input? Because I don't think it should be waiting a long time either, because we've been waiting forever. We have, but I don't think it should be rushed either. So my question is, if we waited to that 2nd July meeting, would that be enough time to get public information for the public opinion?
I don't believe,
That's what I'm asking.
Could we ask Kane if he could, before that date, if he could come up with a rough draft? You oftentimes you'll look at other cities and what they have, and do you have enough time to?
Of course.
To look through those and kind of give us what you think, and then I don't know, I'd like to see it posted as soon as possible so everybody can look at it.
I do too.
I want to offer a moment of clarity and transparency on this. There was another mayor outside of the Cobb County area that was working on getting the municipalities an option to be able to vote on this by a simple council up or down vote, and that was me. So I understand this inside and out. We work with GMA, we work with state senators, we work with state representatives to get more local control on this particular topic. And the whole idea of working on it was for us to be able to do this in such a way where we are able to get public input on this. And through this process, what I envisioned was for us to be able to do a work session. So that the staff can bring to the council what other communities are doing. And then the council is open to have an open and free conversation about what we would like to have it here. Some of the conversations that we've had in and around this is there gonna be a liquor store on every corner? Will it be regulated? Will it be a certain number? Will incomes that's been historically disadvantaged by package stores being in their communities? Are we gonna put in any precautions in regards to that? There's a huge amount of discussion that needs to be had in and around this. And historically, our city has had a huge issue when it comes to alcohol. So in my opinion, I'm of the opinion of John, I'm of the opinion of Sherry, I'm of the opinion of Paulette. Statesboro has not had alcohol sales in 100 years. In 100 years, I didn't interrupt anybody, I expect the same courtesy. What does it, the next time we can put this on the ballot is May 24th. We can take our time, the staff does not have to be rushed. The people of the city who's reaching out to me and saying that they feel that this is being rushed, they feel that there's been a lack of transparency in this conversation. And so there's no need to rush, and there's gonna be more people to participate in the May 24th election than it is the city. The municipal race has a historically low turnout rate. So that's not the best measure of what most of the people want in the city. The best measure is to get it on the ballot where most of the people come out. And in that way, that's where we really get a good idea of what the people really want. And so we know that the May election is gonna be a huge primary, and we're gonna get a greater swath of the people that's within this community. And then it allows us to create public policy that's of a sensitive nature in a transparent, open way, so that the entire community, this is just not about work sessions. On this topic, we need to have 3 town halls. We need to have 2 town halls during the week. We need to have a town hall on a Saturday, so that the people, so that we can build those town halls around individual schedules, so that they are able to participate. If we waited 100 years, we can wait 6 months to do it the right way. And that's what public policy is about. That's my spiel on it. The council can make the decision that they want to, and we'll go in the direction that the council wants. But in my opinion, we should have a work session where the staff was able to tell us about what other communities are doing. We're able to put together an ordinance that reflects the city of Statesboro. We open it up for 3 town halls where we operate, 2 during the week, 1 on the weekend, so that they can be able to get it. Then we bring it up to a first reading. And then once we get that first reading, the people know exactly what they're voting on when they go to the polls, and it's not rushed. So that's my take on it. Any further discussion by council?
Ken, what was the date that you said, the latest date that it could be voted on by council?
Barring a special call meeting of council, it would be the 2nd July meeting. If a resolution is passed for a ballot referendum, we need to have that to the Board of Elections by August 1st.
By August the 1st.
In order to be on the November
Yeah,
ballot.
in order for us, so by August the 1st, we're not gonna be able to tell the public what they need.
I didn't
Oh,
interrupt
sorry.
anyone, so please, can you answer the question?
Right. Councilwoman Mack, in order to put it on the November 2nd ballot, we would need to have it into the Board of Elections, Bullock County Board of Elections by August 1st.
Okay.
So unless a special called meeting was done later, the last time during a regular meeting that could be approved to be on that November ballot would be the 2nd July meeting.
Okay.
That'd be
July 20th.
July
July
20th.
20th.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Further discussion by council?
so my question is that enough time for us to get this out to the public? Staff?
Ken, you mind if I?
Councilwoman Shavers has a question on the floor.
Well, I was gonna answer her question.
No, she said staff.
No, she didn't, but okay.
Yes, she
I
did.
said staff.
Well, go ahead, Ken.
I could certainly do a survey, see what existing ordinances look like during that time. Whether or not that's enough discussion to be had is a decision y'all would have to make. I simply don't know. But as far as time constraints on me about whether or not I can get y'all some ideas by then, I absolutely can.
And as far as scheduling public meetings, we'll do whatever council directs us to do. It's sufficient time. The only thing I would just say, remember, we are dealing with summertime. And folks are away. And so, but today's June 1st, we can get meetings scheduled, we can do town halls, we can do whatever you like. But it would be pushing it with
But
summer
you can do
season.
it,
We
that's
can do
what you're
it.
saying.
Yes.
You can do it. Oh, it's a tough one.
Mr. Mayor, I know this isn't a public hearing, but it is a public venue and a public meeting.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna open it up, I got it.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would like to, the people here, we can give everybody that wants
Is
to.
there anyone here that would like to speak on this topic? Pro or for? Yeah.
Well, I'm speaking as a
We need
concerned
you to
citizen.
come, we need you to come to the podium. State your name.
I'm speaking as a concerned citizen and a liquor store owner. I think that, you know, I understand, my daddy was the one
Come,
that,
come close. Come to the microphone.
Ma'am, you have to tell your
Yeah,
name and
tell us
where
your
you're
name.
I'm sorry, Pam Hodges,
Okay.
we own the county line. So our concern is, I mean, we're ready to do whatever, you know, but I think there is a lot of discussion. I mean, we've been through this for all my life of my dad saying what all went on prior to and what's going on now. But I think we need to know the rules of what's going on. I think we need to know, is it only gonna be one liquor store? Is it gonna be one on every corner? Is it gonna be a lottery system? I mean, you know, we need to know more information. And I think, I'm speaking for myself, I'm thinking, I spoke to others that, you know, are the same way. They wanna know what the rules are gonna be. So that's why I'm liking the idea that y'all take the time to research and, you know, check things out of what needs to be done and how it needs to be handled. That's just my thought, but I just think that more discussion, it just seemed like it was rushed. And not that we're against anything, I'm just saying that I just think we need more time to see what the rules are and how we're gonna play it.
Ms. Hodges, you live in Bullock County, don't you?
So we do.
I mean, you always have. I know y'all.
And our,
My family knows y'all's family from way back. But you're saying that if we did pass this and it came out on the ballot and it passed, y'all would be probably the first one to open up a liquor store, wouldn't you?
I hate to see it started at our age, but you know, start all over again. But I do want to say that I understand, you know, that you're wanting the revenue for the county and stuff. I'm not sure how much Matter gets on, county gets on a package store. I have no idea on that, but everything we make comes back into this county. We've been supporters of Georgia Southern since 1983. We're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We, you know, we own property here. I mean, everything we do, the money comes back in. So, hadn't been so bad for y'all, but anyway, that's my thoughts. Thank you for listening.
So if we vote on it today, the discussion cannot happen? That's what can the discussion still happen even if it's voted on today? Or does discussion stop because we voted?
It would be on council directive whether or not to do any of that. That would be up to y'all entirely, and of course, there is no prohibition on that discussion before or after the resolution, or before or after the ballot referendum.
Can I ask you a question?
Councilman Boyum has the floor.
One, this resolution that we have here does nothing other than put the question on the ballot for the voters, correct?
That's correct.
Does it give us permission to issue licenses without an ordinance?
Yeah, oh, absolutely not.
Okay, so if this is passed in November, at that point, we would have to craft an ordinance, or we could craft an ordinance beforehand. You can do it either way. Either way, though, no alcohol licenses can be issued without an ordinance being written and passed by the council, correct?
Absolutely correct.
All right, and our current ordinance process requires us to have a minimum of 2 public hearings for a first reading and a second reading, and the second reading only if no significant changes have been made since the first. Is that correct?
Actually, it should be subject to the work session requirement as well. So I believe it would be a work session and then two council public hearings in general.
Minimum.
Right.
Because, as we know, a bunch of ordinances here passed in the past year and a half have gone to 3 meetings, even 4 sometimes, correct? So, plenty of public opportunity, plenty of time. The only thing that has to be sent to the Board of Education is whatever was written in there, it's like that little line, right? To the Board of Elections, I'm sorry. Supervisors.
That's correct. State law, O.C.G.A. 3442 mandates that singular question with nothing more, nothing less.
So in other words, once the referendum is passed, again, until ordinances are fully written, So we can take into consideration, I think, all the considerations that the mayor had, I think all those things
Well,
that
no,
are.
not exactly. So for me, this is, for me, when we send this to the public to say, this is what's gonna be on the ballot, we don't have enough time to craft all of that by August 1 and then put it in. We're still gonna be working on that beyond that August. So the time frame that they get the chance to understand what that vote, yea or nay, means is gonna be shortened tremendously. My thought process to keep this abundantly transparent with everyone is that we take the time, craft the legislation, so that the people know exactly what they're voting for and they have enough time to understand exactly what they're voting for. And so if we're trying to rush to hurry up, by August 1, this legislation is not gonna be crafted, but it's gonna be on the ballot. And so we're still trying to craft something that's on the ballot, and people are still trying to get it. And then once we craft it, now we got to push it out to the public so that they know what's going on. And so my question is, why the rush for that ballot? When we've got a primary in March and then another general election in November. So why is it a rush to get it on that particular ballot?
We'll have to pay for a primary in May. We already
So
have an election scheduled for November.
We have an election scheduled for May 24th.
No, we have a county election, that's not the same as a city election.
No, it's a primary statewide. It's gonna have, historically, that is the election where most people turn out.
The
So if
districts
you
are
want a good representation, you got to have, you will put it on the ballot where most of the people are gonna turn out.
The districts are different, Mayor. The county districts are not the same as the city districts. So it's the same, when we ran in 2012, don't you remember? You had to vote in the city election at your city precinct, and then you had to vote in the county election in the county precinct.
Phil, that has
It'll be
no
the same
bearing
thing
on
in
that.
May.
Phil, that has no bearing.
I don't wanna go back and forth.
The city district is different. You will not vote in your county. It'll be a separate
Phil,
election.
what does that have to do with turnout?
It means on May, you'll have to vote twice, and it also means that the students will be gone. Why not do it in November on our regular election when the students will be here? And all the residents that are supposedly here, they're such a big part of our community, why leave them out of the discussion? But my point being is that if you do it in May, it's a special called election, and we'll have to pay an additional fee for it because the county districts are not the same. District 1 that I live in the city is not the same as District 16,
Phil, this
my
has
county
no,
district.
I mean, you're saying a
Of
lot,
course
but
it
it's
does.
not, but it has no bearing. It has no bearing at all, Phil. Councilwoman Mack.
One, I don't even remember what I was gonna say, guys, but
You want to circle back to you?
you said what's the rush, so I'm gonna just go off of that. I feel that the rush is that it's just time. This is something that I have, when I ran my campaign and I was knocking on doors, I was asking people what did they wanna see. The two biggest things that people said, the first one was from Park Place, they wanted mailboxes. And I told them I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the mailboxes, but I did try. And the second thing was that we need alcohol. We need alcohol stores. And I told them that I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that either. But I will try. And now is my time to try. And like Phil said, in May, I didn't even think about that. Half of my district will not be here in May to vote if we did it for May. I do not want to rush anything. I am from a fast city, so I do like things fast, but I just think that it's time. It is time for us. Everybody says, oh, Statesboro, we want to grow, we want to do things, we want to be bigger. But then when things come up, it's like we're scared. Like, oh no, we can't do that. What if? I want to hear the public's input, but I also want to vote on this, and we will have time to hear the public. If the public does not want it, go to the polls and vote and say that you do not want it. And then it'll go away.
And I think the majority of the council up here wants to put it on the ballot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why we dedicated all of those hours to get the state to legislate this. So I'm not saying here that I'm against that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and my promise to the city when I ran for mayor is that I'm gonna be transparent. And I want to make this a transparent. When the citizens of Statesboro step into that ballot booth, I want them to know we're going to have X amount of liquor stores. These are going to be the rules that's related to. And I don't want it to feel like they have to hurry up and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like when we did, you know, even with both of the supplies, the voters knew, okay, parks are on there, public transportation is on there. They had a good idea. That's the only thing. I'm for them. That's why I worked on it. I worked on it. I did the work.
So let's.
You know what I'm
take
saying?
action.
So with that being said, the only thing I'm saying is, let's be transparent in the process. Let's get a lot of input, because I'm getting the same feedback. The same people that's telling you, yeah, we want it, they telling me, yeah, we want it. But I want to be transparent. And then in the entire process, I don't want, and I'm telling you, when it comes to public policy, you don't rush it.
No,
You
and
don't
I
rush it.
am learning
Yeah.
that, and I
You don't
am new
rush it.
here, but I also.
And 6 months, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
but 6 months of public policy is not a long time at all.
I think
You know what I'm
we
saying?
vote on a lot of things every other week that we rush. This is something big, and I do not want to rush it, but I feel that we will have the time to let the public know. And it's a
Amen.
simple question. Do you want liquor or do you not want liquor? If they will hear the buzz, they will know, we will have the meetings, they will be able to come and say, do you want it or do you not want it? If I ask everybody in the audience right now, do you want it? Some people are ready. It's a simple question. And we will have the information to them. I do not want to do anything blindly. I don't want them to vote on it and then it comes after it votes, oh, it's going to be a liquor store next to churches, because I don't want that. I want them to have all of the information before, but it's a simple question and we will get them, Kane and staff has said that the information can be to them.
Before voting?
Before voting, yes.
Yeah, so
y'all would have
we're
something
gonna,
in
so the way this
Yes.
will work is that before we even get it to a first reading, you know, but what I want is, I want the legislative piece to be crafted. That's what I want. I want the legislation piece to be crafted. We know that we can throw it out there as an up or down vote, but I want them to know what it is that they're actually voting on.
Right.
So we're not gonna have the legislation crafted because we got to do a work session. So the earliest work session will be the second meeting of this month, right? And then once we come out of that work session, if there's anything that we have to craft out of that, then our staff have to take away and put back. Now that's pushed us back. Now we back into July. 2 weeks later, it's got to be put on the ballot. And then, so by the time we get it to a first reading, there may be additional information. So now we've September, October, and so now they got 4 weeks to decide, oh my, do we want this, and did we get it out in a timely fashion? What I would like to see in this process, because it is so sensitive to this city, is that I want to do town halls. I want us to be able to go, I want us to talk to the business owners. I want us to talk to the stakeholders, the individuals that's in the substance abuse community. I want us to all sit down and discuss what does this look like specifically for the city of Statesboro. And we don't have the time to do that in a fashion that's going to create a quality product, and the public understands what that product is by the time November rolls around. Do I think we can do it by May? Absolutely.
I think if we vote on it today, it'll give us a little bit more time, instead of pushing it to the next meeting.
And Councilman Mack, too, early voting doesn't actually start until October, second week of October, third week. So we have 4.5 months.
So early voting
We
starts
didn't have-
in mid-October. So we're gonna have all of the legislation done by then. And
Does it have to be done by then?
we educating the public on it. That's not gonna happen.
Does it have to be done by then? Oh, I'm sorry. Sherry, it was your turn.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, Sharon.
But I'm after Sherry.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
take it.
But no, I appreciate the passion. I appreciate that folks up here care what our constituents think and are trying to take that into consideration and make the best decisions we can. That's what we got elected to do. So I appreciate that people care, and that's why we're talking so much about it. I would just like to remind us to go back and see if there are other people in the room who have a statement to make. I mean, we got caught up on our own discussion, and there may be others who have an opinion to share with us.
Is there anybody else? I'm sorry.
Paulette.
No, Paulette's next.
Oh,
Paulette's
sorry.
next. She's already told us. Paulette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Does the legislation have to be crafted, and this is a question for Kane, does it have to be crafted before placing on the ballot? That's a yes or no?
No.
No.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so if we put this on the ballot, we still have, we can take as long as we want to craft the legislation, right?
Correct.
We can take 5 years.
We
to
can
do
take
it.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're actually under no obligation to,
That's
So it can
one
get placed on the ballot,
Pass, and we don't have to
we
do
can go
anything.
out as long as we want to. People can come, we can have as many meetings as we want. before we put any type of ordinance in place
Yes.
to govern how many liquor stores we're gonna have, where they're gonna
Yeah.
be placed. We can take our time to do that.
Yep.
And
That's
we can,
still.
wait, ma'am,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
speaking as.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we still have enough time to do that? Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here, it's not a question of process. That's not the question is. The thing that I'm concerned about is that when they go to the ballot, and they vote, they don't know the specifics of what they're voting on. Yes, we can craft it afterwards, but the afterwards piece is after they've already crafted, after they've casted their vote. What if we create something after they vote that they do not agree with and they've already cast their ballot? That's why I'm saying, let's get the legislation piece to put together first. And then when they go to the ballot, they know exactly what they're voting for. I'm sorry, I was gonna, Ms. Hodges was next.
No, Marcus was,
Oh, I didn't see Marcus.
and as Marcus is coming up, I'm just gonna make this statement. I have been to the polls since I was 18, and there's a lot of stuff on the ballot sometimes that I don't know what
Yeah.
it means. But I read and I use my mind, and then I just vote. And, you know, I don't know, go ahead, Marcus.
I won't state your name. Marcus Toole, and I'm just representing myself today.
Okay. We like it.
We're leaving any organization that I might be affiliated with out of this. It's just my thoughts as a private citizen.
Okay.
I have two thoughts. I don't have a big horse in this game, but I just want to offer a couple little, what I think are common sense things to this. One has to do with when you hold the election. My thought is either have it this November or next November. Don't hold it in May, because if you hold it in May, you leave the college students out of it. And I just from an equity perspective, that just seems wrong to me. It just strikes me as wrong. Whether you do it this year or next year, I don't care. But let's not do it at a time when you don't have college kids here. The second thought I have is that there are two laws that just don't make any sense to me. Now, I'm not a liquor drinker. I occasionally have a beer. I occasionally have wine, but it's probably been 10 years since liquor's touched my mouth. So this is not a personal issue for me, but there's two laws that don't make any sense to me from a safety issue. One is the Drunk Pedestrian Law, because that law encourages people to get in a car. And the other one is having a law where people have to drive all the way out to the county and then drive back to get their alcohol. It seems to me that we'll have less deaths on the highways if people are able to sell alcohol, whatever they want. They can get it in Statesboro, and if they are drunk, they have the option of walking home. Those are my 2 cents. I'm not for alcohol or against alcohol. I just know that people are going to get it, and that I think the law would make it safer.
Just
Thanks.
a little bit of common sense. I like that, Marcus.
Hey, King, can I ask you a question? Regarding the question that's on the ballot, state law requires us to ask that question and that question alone, right? We can't modify it, we can't add to it. So the question is, are you going to allow the city to issue licenses, yes or no? Regardless of what the law looks like, it actually doesn't take into consideration the ordinance craft itself, right? Second thing to discuss too is there is an election. John's not running. I'm running, the mayor's running. And so we could potentially have a different council come to that. Well, I mean, we're gonna have at least one different councilman in 2022. That being
Or
said.
a woman.
Huh?
Or a woman.
Or
Keep it-
council person,
keep it
excuse me.
open.
Thank you, sorry, my apologies.
Good job, Phil.
Yeah, sorry, I'm learning. Hey man, I'm learning, it takes a minute. Old dogs, new tricks, that kind of thing. So, middle-aged dogs, I should say, not
No,
an
you
old
said it
dog.
right.
this
Keep
year,
on
so.
going.
But anyway, my point is, that's the question. The question needs to go on the ballot just like that. Whether or not the ordinance, I mean, none of that honestly is a consideration for the referendum. The referendum is very specific and the state is very clear.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
And so, We can put this out to this, I mean, all this is moot if the citizens say no. Why, you know, so let's just put it out to the citizens, see what they have to say, and if they want us to move forward, we move forward. And if we don't, we don't. And we can, and like Paulette says, and like the mayor says, we can take as much time as we need and get as much input from folks as we want. We can take into consideration our business community, our university community, our substance abuse community, all those communities. But I mean, you know, there's, to some degree, there's almost no sense going down that road if the answer is no. But the only people that can tell us yes or no are the citizens. And it's up to us to put it before them, like we've done with the brunch bill, like we've done with Sunday alcohol sales, like we did with liquor by the drink. All these have been passed with referendums and didn't have nearly as much consternation as we're going through. So let's ask the voters what they want, put it before the citizens. If they say yes, we'll move forward. If they say no, we won't.
Mr.
It's
Mayor.
that easy.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
No
Just
problem.
to get over you, Phil. I think I'm clear now on the position of everybody up here, of the council members and yourself, but I'd still like to see if there are other folks in the audience who didn't get a chance to speak yet. Please.
Come on now, we see you talking.
Well, I'm not a public speaker, and we weren't prepared today because of the short notice.
Tell us your name, Miss Joyce.
Yeah, I know. Ms. Joyce, tell us
My
your
name is Joyce Stubbs, and I'm the director at Bullock Alcohol and Drug Council. And as most of you know, I would vote against this referendum because our concern is underage drinking and the availability. And when the more available you have alcohol, the more opportunity people have to drink. So our data person that knows all the data and can quote you all the data for this is not here today because we had, you know, we just read the article in the paper and it was a holiday weekend, and so, you know, I just think, I agree with the mayor that if we slow down, there's no rush, then it would give people time, particularly us, to get our act together so that we could present our side of the argument.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Joyce.
Joyce.
Any further discussion by council or public?
I think this is putting the cart before the horse. Is that right? Yeah, putting the cart before the horse if we don't have it all spelled out before we decide to put it on the ballot. I mean, because some people will want to know, you know, we're gonna have one big store, we're gonna have stores everywhere. Well, if I tell somebody, well, we're not gonna have stores everywhere, we're gonna have, you know, we're gonna keep it limited. Well, and then this passes because of me saying that, and then whoever comes and replaces me might be Al Capone. He might come in and want liquor stores on every corner. And I think before we even vote on it, it's putting the cart before the horse. I think we need to have our discussions about what the ordinance is gonna look like before we even think about putting it on the ballot.
And we can have
I'm
those,
sorry,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, we can have those conversations before. And I know you're saying whoever is gonna come after you can be somebody, but if you know us as a council, what we have done in this last year,
I do.
we're not gonna let anything crazy happen to this city because we do love the city of Statesboro.
I know
So
that.
in order to move forward, we just have to just move forward. So I do get that you want people to know, and that's why if we vote on it, we can start having those conversations and those town halls and those work sessions that everybody wants to have, and we can have that information. And trust me, when the new person comes in, we're not gonna let them take over and do anything. We still have to vote on it.
Yeah, Kay, let me ask you this. Was a resolution the only way to get this on the ballot, or was there a means to do this via ordinance? No, ordinance.
The actual state law, it says that it can be via ordinance, resolution, or petition. That's what it says in here, it's just via any ordinance or resolution. A lot of jurisdictions treat we'll call resolutions the way we call ordinances,
Mhm.
whereas we specifically say that our ordinances are those that are within the code of ordinances
Mhm.
or ones directly relating to it, such as an ordinance setting, that are required under our code of ordinances.
Okay. So the ordinance, and I want to understand this correctly, so the ordinance could have actually been crafted via state policy, and then put towards, and then motion towards the ballot box.
The only question that can go on the ballot is the one about.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but on the city preparation side, we could prepare the ordinance, so that it's ready for, whatever the ballot result may be, correct?
Could we already have the
Yeah.
ordinance, the code of ordinances? Yes.
Yeah.
There's no prohibition before or after on that.
And that language is in there so that the public at the municipal level would understand we would be able to get the clarity on that. That's why that's in there. So that when we was working on this is what that's why we were doing it, so that the public could be a full participant in it. So with that being said, is there a motion from council at this time?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve resolution 2021-23.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Did you vote on that?
You give me some time, just give me some time, I'm thinking, this is a hard one for me. Ooh, jeez. Give me a moment.
There can be another motion where we put it, on the May 24th ballot or the November ballot, or the following November ballot. So another motion can enter.
Or this could be done in July. We could vote on this in July to put it on the ballot for, we have up until July.
There's a motion and a
There's
second.
a motion,
There's a
so,
motion and a second on the floor.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to enter my own motion. I would like to motion to give me some more time to think, we bring this back up in July. That's what my motion is. Can I do that?
So do you
Is
want to
that
abstain?
doable?
you can.
You can abstain, we can vote to table it, we can be a no vote.
I don't wanna vote to table it because I think this is something that needs to be addressed. I need more time to think about it.
Okay.
I don't like to be rushed in my actions.
Okay. So-
But I don't wanna
so-
waste all year thinking about it.
Okay, so-
That's why I wanna put it in.
So what you can do is abstain, it would be a tie. I won't cast a vote, and then we'll have staff bring it back up.
In July,
Yeah.
is that gonna be no?
Wouldn't a 2 vote be a no?
We just add it back to the agenda.
I don't think you can. Well,
Yeah,
that's
you can add it back to the
It
agenda.
would have to be somebody on the, it would have to be Sherry or John, bring it up, put it back on.
I can put it on there.
Yeah, the mayor is forced to vote in the event of a tiebreaker.
Correct.
And so the procedural way of doing what Councilwoman Chambers is suggesting would be a no vote, and then that motion would fail, and then you can make a subsequent motion.
Could she not make a substitute motion?
She could.
Even with the motion on the floor, make a substitute motion to table the item to a time certain, which would be either the next meeting or the first meeting in July or the second meeting in July. So it's not like it's dragging out. She can make a substitute motion.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanna, whatever that is, the language that is, I don't know what language that is.
Okay.
But my thing is, this is very important to me, and before I decide on something, I need time to think about it. That's my thing, and I think July is enough time for me to think.
So,
I will say I'm willing to withdraw my motion in consideration of voting at the next meeting. I don't want to go till July. We talked about wanting to have time for the public. The sooner we get this and let folks know this is on the ballot, then the sooner folks can start putting ads in the paper and start discussing and start calling their council members and start campaigning or doing whatever they need to do. And ultimately, It's up to the citizens whether or not we get to decide whether we do liquor stores or not. It's up to the citizens. So that's, John, when you say cart before the horse, that's the first step. This is the first step to getting it on the referendum, but whether the citizens say yes or no, that's the first step.
Can we
Because
agree
if they
on
say
time?
no, we could spend 6 months working on this, and then that's all moot. And so, or they can say yes, and then we can work on it then. So that is the first step, citizens. But anyway, too
I
much.
disagree with that. I think we could have the ordinance first.
Yeah, that's what I
State law
think.
is actually pretty clear. You can't vote on the ordinance. You can only vote on the
Phil, we
question.
know that,
But
we
we
know
need
the
to-
only thing that's gonna be on the ballot is do you want package sales or not?
That's right.
What we are saying as a governing body is that we
understand that.
wanna present the ordinance so that the people know when they go vote, whether they want it or not,
I understand.
they know what the ordinance looks like. So let's quit going in that circle.
This is what I would like, as I stated before. I want to make my own decisions based upon research that I've done. I need a little more time to do that, okay? Because I understand both sides. I really do. Can we give me some more time? That's what I'm asking for.
How
Just
much
a
time do
little
you
more
want?
time.
I'm
Do
sorry,
you want,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is the decision of whether it should be on the ballot or in the time period it should be on the ballot? Because I think,
No, it's not.
all of us agree it should be on the ballot.
I agree it should be on the ballot.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I
But my thing
think 3,
is-
4 to 1, 4 to 5.
I like to process stuff. I have to process it before I make a decision. And I don't care what anybody says up here, I wanna process, okay? So I'm asking if I can get a little more time to process this decision, because I need to process it.
All right,
Is that clear?
sure.
Okay, clear.
That's what I'm asking for.
Okay.
And if
When
you
do
Can we
you
make
when do
that
you want
happen?
more time?
to
Till
think
when,
about it,
Paul?
there's other
Till
people
when,
that
Paul?
need time.
It's June now,
When do you want it?
can we get the last meeting in June?
Okay.
So
Next meeting.
next meeting?
Yes.
We can get that.
Let's do it.
I am willing
That'll give me a
to
month.
withdraw my motion and enter a different motion to table this item until the next meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'm just not voting.
Okay. You abstaining?
So, did they
Okay.
pass stuff? Yeah.
Now, mind you,
Got
if you vote, if you don't vote to table it, then it doesn't table, and we have to consider it now.
Oh,
That's how it works.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
3 people to vote to table it.
I just wanted to point that out. I mean, just because you don't vote doesn't mean.
I understand. Thank you, though. I make a motion that we have a work session before the next meeting on alcohol.
we are having a, yeah, we are.
But I say we now
It's
have
a
it
work
on,
session, it's a work session, the second work session of this month, yeah.
so it is already planned to be on this?
Well, you know, housing is supposed to be on that one, isn't it?
We would just need to, we will start it earlier, Mayor.
Okay.
Because the housing will take up significant time, but we'd have enough time to go at least 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, if we start at 3.
Okay,
Start at 3.
okay. 3 o'clock on the 15th.
And I would like to encourage the public that if you guys have a voice or you have an opinion, please come and voice your opinion. And for council, if anybody wants anything to be on the work session, please let that be known. And guys, do your research. We have 2 weeks, so when you get these papers, let's look at them and research and do what you have to do.
Do we need to second John's motion? There's a motion
No,
on the
we're-
floor.
No, I'll withdraw that.
Okay.
So it is being tabled.
Yes, being tabled.
All right.
Okay. All right, so with that being said, we'll move down to agenda item 11. Consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of a rescue jack stabilization struts from Vickers Steel LLC in the amount of $29,596. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, this is a replacement item for the fire department for rescuing, extrication from accidents, and so rescue jack, Victory Steel is the sole source, so we do recommend approval of the request.
Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to award a contract to CNH Pipeline Incorporated in the amount of $69,990 to install approximately 3,000 feet of 4-inch PE gas main along Old Register Road. This project is funded in part of the 2021 CIP budget item number NGD 87 with funds from system revenues. Any further insight, Mr. Penny?
Mayor, we just recommend the project to you, with the growth of Georgia Southern. This is gonna help us to be able to serve in the expanded, area and businesses that might come up in that area, so we do recommend the approval of the contract.
All right, thank you. All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve award of contract to Frontier Communication in the amount of $84,000 and authorize the mayor to execute contract documents for utility relocation associated with the intersection improvement project at South Zitteron Avenue and Stillwell Street intersections.
Again, Mayor, we recommend it to you. We made some improvements in that intersection, and so we have some utility relocation, and this is part of that, which can be a very difficult job in getting, especially the telecommunication folks to relocate. And so we do recommend approval of the $84,000 for Frontier in order to get this work done.
All right, thank you. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's move down to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to award contract to Bullet Solutions in the not to exceed amount of $105,422.32. Authorize the mayor to execute contract documents for telecommunication and security infrastructure for the Louettamore Park and Great Street Park Improvements Project. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, at the last meeting, I told you this was gonna be coming. This is going to get internet to Louettamore and to Grady Street, plus for the security cameras that we will have at both locations, and we do recommend it to you. As I told you at the last meeting, I was anticipating this $100,000 cost coming forward to you, so we do recommend it to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Yes, I didn't notice it in there, but are we purchasing the connectivity so that the police will have access to these cameras live?
We're working with the police department.
I see a thumbs up, so, okay, that's all I need to know. Because, all right, will they be able to buy just one piece of equipment, or they might have to buy a couple of them, I guess?
Yes, sir, one per park.
One per park, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah, that right there reminded me that this month is 2 years since PJ has been killed, and we still have not found solved that murder in one of our parks. This month makes 2 years. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Move down to agenda item 15, consideration of a motion to approve change orders 12 and 16 with Lavender and Associates Incorporated not to exceed the amount of $24,523 for the Louettamore Park and Great Street Park Improvements Project, and authorize the mayor to execute contract documents, document amendments. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, part of this is to ensure that we can get some conduit in, which is going to be required for some of the fiber work. But also, as we make the improvements to the park, what we are striving to do is to ensure that when people look at the parks, they see new parks. And so we don't want to leave something undone. And at Louettamore, over on the side where the little ball field is, there's a building, we're gonna replace the fence, so you took care of that the last time. But there's a little building, that the siding is bad, and the roof needs, shingles need to be replaced. So we're gonna match all that with what's over in the Carol Love Jones building and what will be in the pool area. So it all looks uniform and it looks like a new park when it's finished. And so we do recommend approval of this change order for $24,543.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to award a contract to Statesboro Incorporated in the amount of $985,876.75 in the annual resurfacing project and approval to spend up to the budgeted amount of $1,063,686.32 for additional work based on unit prices and contractors bid. This project is paid by G.A. LMIG funds and 2018 T-SPLOST funds. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we'll move down to agenda item 17, consideration of a motion to award a contract to Tim Lanier Construction for the municipal court overflow PD parking lot expansion project in the base bid amount of $92,868 and approval to spend up to $111,000 for additional work based on prices and contractors bid. Project is to be paid for with 2013 SPLOST funds. Mr. King.
Mayor, members of the council, if you go down to the police department at the corner of Brady and College Street, there's an unpaid parking lot, and all we simply wanted to do is improve it, put landscape in so it looks nice, and so we do recommend that you authorize us to spend up to the $111,000 and award the contract to Tim Lanier Construction for this improvement.
Mr. Penny, which corner are we talking about now?
So it's really right next to the police department at the corner of Grady and College Streets.
That was paved.
Not this parking lot.
It's just a paved one, and then there's one.
There's a building that sits right next to, and it's unimproved. What we normally do during Christmas, that's where we set the roll-off, so people can bring paper and stuff and dispose of it, but that's gonna be resurfaced.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and so, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 18, other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council?
Yeah, Mayor, just one quick thing. Where did I have my notes? With today's being the day after a holiday, and typically in the past, we've pushed our council meeting to that Wednesday. And we've got 2 more Monday holidays, and this is so staff doesn't have to do work, you know, because clearly they're getting the end of their, you know, they're spending Monday afternoon probably organizing their stuff for a morning meeting. And we've got 2 more Monday or Tuesday meetings following a Monday holiday, and I'd like to push those back 1 day. So it would be the July 6th meeting pushing it back to July 7th, and then the September 6th meeting pushing it back to September 7th. That way there's a full work day before we have our council meeting. Just again, so staff isn't having to work on their holidays, you know what I mean? That's not fair to them. So, I appreciate it. Don't say nothing I don't want to hear nothing.
I agree with that.
Thank you. So, I don't know if we have
I need time
to,
to
do we
think
need
about
to?
that. I work on those days, so.
I'm saying that I got several jobs.
Me too, but I mean, you
You
know.
know, like, that's part of the deal thing. And Jody Southern ain't telling me,
I
John,
understand.
we know. We don't want you to work on that day. So.
I'm okay to do one, but
Yeah.
I'm not
Why?
comfortable with doing both because I
spoil
have a
them.
job that I
We spoil
have
them.
to work till. I
We're
have to
just
work.
moving it to
We
a
spoil
Wednesday.
them.
I have to work on
Okay.
Wednesdays. Yeah, I work on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just been
I'll
something
do
we've
one.
done for years as a consideration. of
Yeah,
staff,
I'm okay
so.
with one. I just, or maybe I'll do
You don't want
two
to
or
do it,
something.
Work is work. Yeah,
Don't do
like,
that.
Georgia Southern is not saying we want to give you a break on your job.
Okay.
So with that being said, let's, is there any further discussion, for, city council, for city business, council business?
I appreciate Mr. Boyer thinking about it, and I always like to look out for staff, and I plan my calendar around first and third Tuesdays, so I can see both sides of that. I mean, I can make changes if it's really, the staff feels like we need it, but I already have things planned the rest of the year based on which Tuesdays.
Yeah, I'm asking you now. Well, if you say staff don't need it, then we're asking you. If you're saying staff does need it, then we're not asking.
Yes, they have to
I
look at
appreciate
it.
the consideration.
Yeah.
However, when we have Tuesday's meeting at the holidays, we prepare before we leave.
Okay.
And so that we know we're gonna come in and so we're okay.
Yeah.
We get our agenda stuff out and it's just a matter of, I know I'm an old man, but I'm just ready to roll on Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. Do
Mhm.
whatever y'all need us to do. So, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, any city manager comments?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I had about 3 things I just wanted to mention to you. Youth Connect will start next week, so we need to make sure we get y'all on the schedule.
Okay.
Most of the training is gonna take place over in the big area.
Okay.
I think we're gonna be using the conference room over there. We'd like to tell you, we selected 20 young people, high school students, and Demetrius has it broken down, I don't have all the numbers. But I want to tell you one story that I think is really important. One of the things that's really critical for this is in mentoring these young people and being able to put them in a position so that they're successful not going forward. We had one young person that was so bashful that young person could not interview. And when Demetrius told me that, I was like, that person needs our program. So we were able to go back and get that young person to be a part of our program. We talked with the mother and the young person. And so that's the beauty of what you're doing. And so I just want to share that with you. The June work session, I was just gonna mention housing. We're gonna take 90 minutes to talk about housing and get the document corrected. We'll send it out to you in advance so you can read it. But it's good information. It's good data about our community and what the future looks like for our community as far as housing is concerned. But I did send out to you in the memo that the way we were planning is that we wouldn't have a work session unless council deemed it necessary in July, just to give staff a break then. But again, we'll do whatever council needs us to do. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention to you is that we're still learning about the American Rescue Plan, but hopefully in the next month, I'll be in a position that I can give you a recommendation on how we should spend these funds as soon as we know it. Today, I can't even tell you how much money we're actually gonna get because that has not been shared with us. And when the original numbers came out, it said something about $10.3 million. But when the government released some of the numbers, especially the entitlement communities, the numbers had changed. So that's why we're being very cautious about what we're doing as far as the American Rescue Plan is concerned. And then the last thing I want to just mention to you, we had a great meeting with Food Insecurities Committee last week, and with Don Poe and with folks from the food bank, and we're moving forward and the county was involved in that discussion because they're going to be displaced with the senior housing that's going to come. But we'll keep you posted and share with you some of the discussions that are coming out of that meeting. And with that, that's all for me today.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I did have 2 comments. I'm sorry to be slow getting them in. But Mr. Penny's comment reminded me it's a good time to congratulate all of our area graduates. Here it is, the 1st of June, and we've had a lot of young people taking the next step, and we're really proud of them and send out congratulations. The other thing, I'm looking around and I'm not seeing very many masks, and I'm so pleased that more of us are vaccinated and that our numbers are down. But I always want to sound the cautionary note. There are those among us who can't be vaccinated. There are those among us who just haven't gotten there yet. And some areas are seeing a resurgence. So encourage folks, if you haven't yet been vaccinated and you can, please go be vaccinated. We don't want to be one of those hot spots again that it comes back on. So pay attention. Squash the Spread is still active. There are clinics coming up. You can get vaccines in lots of places. If you don't know where, call me, call City Hall. We'll point you in the right direction.
Thank you.
I also want to, Dolly, on what she said, I am fully vaccinated, but I choose to stay masked. So just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you have to take the mask off. So don't be bullied into taking your mask off if you don't want to.
Yeah. Absolutely. You have a conflict, you have a mass conflict.
Yeah.
I got mine, man.
Yeah.
Also, but I'm still wearing my mask.
That's right.
It's like an honor system. People can say they're vaccinated, but you can't really act.
Yeah.
We
don't supposed to act.
Just keep a mask on.
Can I see your
And
card?
we're still at
Yes.
20% in both counties.
Yeah.
And the numbers are low. in Bullock County
Yeah.
for people who have gotten vaccinated.
Yeah, that's a big concern, but I do wanna, and I think our Councilwoman, Barr alluded to it, but on the 19th, we're setting up vaccination stations across the city. And this is a great collaboration with Squashing the Spread, CORE. We got another organization that's coming out of Savannah, that's doing something, that's helping us as well. So that's gonna be, on the 19th that, individuals can come up at hopefully grocery stores, and be able to get vaccinated. So, we definitely wanna continue to push that, but thank y'all for everything you're doing.
We can also note that the food bank, even though they're about to have to relocate, Food Bank and Rebecca's Cafe are gonna host a vaccine clinic, and they're actually offering people who show up at their clinic a $5 cash thank you for helping the whole community by getting vaccinated and helping to protect us all. And I wish I had that date to share with you, but I don't have it in front of me. But pay attention to social media, it'll be widely publicized.
And I know, oh, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, I know this sounds strange, but, vaccines are free, people. Don't.
Phil, how much they cost?
Free
Free.
99.
Free 99, that's right.
Free 99.
Free 99. I mean, I say that, and I know we laugh about it, but I mean, there are scams out there right now. There are people that think they have to pay. I mean, all these places that have it, whether it's East Georgia, Georgia Southern, CVS, wherever, they're free. So don't let money be an issue to not get your vaccine.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we're never gonna get out, we just keep saying stuff, but I also wanted to touch on that the school board is doing free lunches for the summer for kids. So if you have a child from, I believe it's 0 to 18, they have 5 different locations where you can go and pick up lunches for the week. I do not know, I know Sally Z was one, Julia P. Bryant. I don't have the whole list, but I will post it on my social media today. It's already there, but I will repost it. So if you have children and you need some lunches, they're not asking any questions or anything. You just go and pick up your lunches and they'll give you, I believe, breakfast and lunch for the week. So you'll get 10 meals in one day. So today is actually the first day, and then it'll be every Monday after. So you guys take advantage of that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I found the date. Rebecca's Cafe's vaccine clinic will be on Thursday, the 10th of June, so just a couple weeks from now. Thursday, the 10th of June, from 10 till 12 at the Rebecca's Cafe Food Bank location on Donnie Simmons Way.
Okay.
Get my vaccine, go get it.
Good job, Dennis.
Okay. Any public comments? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a need for executive session? All right, seeing that there is none.
Yeah, for personnel.
Mr. Payne said no.
No, I know what she's talking about.
It's been something.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
that was
you,
bored.
thank you, Leah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Okay, yeah. All right, so the consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, in accordance with O.C.G.A. 50-14-3B. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Good job.
Chief? All right. So we have to